Hello and welcome back to Two Kids and a Mullet Later podcast with Lavalea and Colby. This is episode 5. I cannot believe we're at 5 episodes now. So first off, I want to give a big shout out to Angle for hooking us up with these cups that are now going to be our official podcast mugs. We're drinking some coffee. We're going to be tweaking off the bean and talking about all these topics.
I don't know about tweaking on a bean. I just want to flick the bean.
Sir. And Colby is why I have to check the little explicit mark whenever I post these podcast episodes.
I don't even do anything. I'm just a chill guy.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about navigating disagreements in your relationship without damaging it. So in every type of relationship, there's going to be some kind of arguments, some kind of disagreements, but you definitely have to figure out how you can navigate those things without causing more issues or it becoming some kind of like toxic situation. I feel like in a lot of toxic arguments, it always turns into who wins the argument. Like, people always want to be like the winner or the right person. At some point, when you start to mature and you start to realize that, you know, I really do love this person and I want things to work out with them, that you have to stop being selfish in those moments and really place yourself in their shoes and see it from their perspective. Don't totally deny your perspective, but once you kind of remove yourself from being like in the middle of it and seeing the full situation for what it is, it's easier for you to get rid of that, oh, I just want to be right, or I just want to win this.
Never go to bed mad at each other. Like with us, even if we get in a little bickering, little whatever, before I go to sleep, I'm like, I love you. I'm sorry. You can't go to bed mad at each other, bro. Just still, even if y'all still disagree, still let each other know that y'all love each other. And I mean, y'all can pick up the conversation the next fucking day. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody argues and shit. So, but your love is still there for each other.
There's been plenty of times where I know that Colby knows or thinks that he is right in a situation, but he still apologizes first. Like whether or not he feels like, you know, he had a better point or, you know, maybe I was being over dramatic or overreacting. Like he always puts his pride aside and will just apologize. And then we get over it.
Quite blatantly, I think it's tired of arguing about the shit. I mean, why you want to keep going on? Like, all right, bro, this ain't going nowhere. I love you. I'm sorry.
It's like taking your closed fist that you have around something and just letting it go. Like, is the argument really that important? Or is it really going to make or break how you feel towards that person? If not, let it go. It's causing more issues for you and your partner whenever you're trying to hold on to the fact of like, well, I'm going to make sure you know that I was right. You know, sometimes it's really not that serious.
Don't focus on the finish line, boy. Focus on the race. If you're just focusing on like, oh, I'm right. So you ain't focusing on listening to feel like hear out why they feel the way they feel.
Because that's the thing too, is that a lot of the times what someone says or what someone does, they know inside themselves why they're doing that, why they said that. But the other person might have totally misconstrued what they meant by that, you know, the tone of it and stuff like that. What you both need to be focused on is what is the next step from this? Not harboring on the same thing over and over and over and over again. You want to figure out what are we going to do different so that way this argument doesn't have to happen again.
If it ever does start to happen, I mean, just be like, hey, motherfucker, remember last time? Okay, found the solution before.
So there are some people who, to refrain from having any type of conflict, they just avoid it altogether. Where they never speak their truth. They never tell their partner how they feel. And that can also be just as harmful to your relationship. If your partner is doing something that upsets you or something like that, and you're not telling them that, so they have no idea that that thing is upsetting you. So they're going to keep doing it. And then you're just going to be silently pissed at them. And then it's going to cause you to build resentment. And that turns into, well, I just don't even want to be with this person anymore.
Yeah, that, or you're going to hold it in until it all just boils over and you blow up. You don't want to hide how you feel with your partner about certain things that's going on, or something you did, they did, somebody else did. It don't matter. Y'all are together as a unit. So you got to work as a unit, fucking let each other know how you feel and do the best you can to work towards a positive outcome.
And I'm just going to admit it. Us as women, I feel like, you know, our brains and men's brains work very differently. We're like, that should have been common knowledge, or you should have just known that, or you should have read my mind. So you're angry, resentful towards your partner, and he literally is like over there like like has no idea. Like, have y'all seen those videos where it's like, I wonder if he is thinking about how he still likes me, and the guy's over there and he's like, I could take on a bear. Like, that is so real though. Like, there are times where I've even caught myself like turning a very normal situation into something that it's not, and then projecting that onto him and being like, well, he must be doing that because of this, or he must be thinking this and whatever. And, you know, that's not even crossing his mind at all. Or he's not even aware that he's doing something that is upsetting me. So it's like, how is he supposed to fix that if he has no idea?
And so that also circles back to communicate.
In your relationship, your partner should be the person that you go to with every thought, every problem, every challenge that you have internally or externally. They should be that safe space. And if you aren't that for your partner, then what are you doing? Your partner is supposed to help make life easier. They're not supposed to make life harder for you. A couple common unhealthy fighting habits would be like the silent treatment, the blame game, defensiveness, bringing up the past, yelling and swearing, name calling, all of that. One of those that I have been guilty of was definitely the silent treatment. In the beginning of me and Colby's relationship, and it was something that I kind of learned as like a defense mechanism with my previous relationships and just kind of like growing up, is when I felt a certain way about something, or if somebody was upset at me, I just wanted to go in a separate area, lock myself in there and ignore you and don't talk to you. I remember early on in our relationship that I tried to do that with Colby, and he was like not having it.
Open the door. Open the door.
He stood outside of the door and was just like, talk to me. Like, I want to talk to you. And I was just like, no, leave me alone. But I was doing that thing where I was telling him to leave me alone, but I knew internally that I didn't want him to leave me alone. Like, I knew that if he would have actually been like, okay, walked away and never talked to me, that would have hurt me even more than just talking it out. So it was a very unhealthy tactic that my brain came up with. Colby was there to really kind of like drive it into my brain that like, that's not going to solve anything. Us ignoring each other, not talking about it, just like hoping it goes away is not going to fix the issue.
You can't run away from your problems. You got to fucking sit there and work it out. If you keep running away, shit's never going to get fixed.
Another big learning lesson that Colby helped me learn as well was there was a point in our relationship where we were having a disagreement. And I'm telling you, it was nothing huge. Like, it was probably something so small and dumb. In my immaturity, I thought the way to get back at him was to be like, okay, well, I'm going to pack all my shit and I'm going to go to my parents' house. Like, I really thought like, yeah, that's going to stick it to him. That way he can miss me and whatever. It wasn't coming from a genuine place of like, okay, maybe we need to take some time to think about something or whatever. It really was a toxic thing that I was trying to do because, again, at the time I was pretty immature. When I told Colby that, He looked at me and he was like, okay, if you pack your stuff, don't come back. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that wasn't the reaction that I thought I was going to get. Like, I thought he was going to be like, no, please, beg me to stay. And that way I could be like, ha ha. But when he told me that, I was like, I was clutching my pearls. I was like, don't come back.
No, I told you, I was like, we're both adults. You gotta sit here, figure it out like fucking adults, like partners. You running away to your mommy and daddy ain't gonna solve shit. We're together in this 100%, so we need to figure it out and make it back to 100%. All that running away bullshit, that's for kids, bro. I ain't got time for that.
And that was a huge life lesson that I learned, and I still take on to this day. If I would have followed through with that and that would have became like my escape plan every time I felt like something wasn't going my way, me and Colby probably would not be here today. Like, we would not be together. We wouldn't have been able to work through some of the, little conflicts that we've had here and there. Like Colby said, like, we're adults. We can have a calm, healthy discussion about the things that are going on and figure out what to do from there. So one of these really sticks out to me. And I mean, me and Colby didn't really ever do this, but I always see this in other relationships, is the bringing up the past when you're in an argument. I feel like that's one of the very common things that people go to, because it's
because they ain't got nothing else. So they fucking try to do that, and you ain't standing on nothing. You bringing up old shit.
I mean, the same with the name calling and all of that, and the yelling. It's you don't have a healthy way to express what's really going on. So you're just going to go back to that immature, childish thing. Well, throwing a tantrum.
Especially if you bring up something that happened way before y'all two even got together or anything like that. Oh, that shit's irrelevant.
I think that's why I push so hard for people to figure out the solution. Focus on the solution. Do not focus on anything else, because a lot of people, instead of figuring out how to take what's going on right in front of you and fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again, they turn it into this snowball effect of bringing in 7 different arguments into the same argument. And then you totally lose the plot. You're losing the plot of what is actually in front of you and what's going on.
Once again, you're a fucking team. You gotta do whatever's best for y'all. Not for you, not for me, not it's a collective, it's a whole.
When you're in an argument, it's very easy for that other person to become defensive. Everyone's gonna have that initial reaction of well, I need to defend my point of view, or I need to defend myself in this. When you're speaking to your partner and you're telling them, something that they're doing that is making you upset, it can be helpful to be instead of, you make me feel angry, or you pissed me off, or you did this, you did that, kind of try to change the way that you're approaching that. So you can be more I feel upset. I feel, this happened and whatever. It kind of helps the other person to not feel like it's just coming as an attack. To be you did that.
Let me tell you something.
So yeah, another thing is active listening. There's a difference between just hearing somebody and actually listening to them. I've done a lot of talking. Sorry.
I'm listening. So when y'all are talking, definitely try to hear each other out and feel the empathy from where they're coming from, so you can understand what's really going on in their head. A lot of people are just you soft, you tripping. Why are you feeling like that? Motherfucker, they just told you, but you weren't listening. You got to see where they're actually coming from and realize, oh, I might have actually fucked up because I did this, now they feel like that.
A lot of people who don't practice active listening to their partner, and they just it's in one ear out the other, they always end up being those people who are so surprised and dumbfounded when their partner doesn't want to be with them anymore. And it's because they've been telling you and giving you the blueprint of how to fix what's going on and how to make them feel better about a certain situation, but you weren't hearing them.
You act better for a couple days, a couple weeks, couple months, but then you fall right back into the rabbit hole of not hearing them out, not caring about their feelings, how they view things. You get tunnel vision again, and you're right back on your same old shit. And they've been telling you time and time again, you need to fix this, fix that, and we need to get shit going, right? And yeah, you jump on board right then and there because like, all right, yeah, I need to fix this. But a few days go by and you're just like, she's over it, whatever. I go back to doing what I was doing. You can't do that. Constantly keep it 100% with each other and fucking constantly work 100% for each other.
I know that earlier I was saying, like, you know, I learned that running away from things wasn't the solution. But there does come times where if feelings or emotions are very escalated and, you know, right then and there, you don't see any resolution in sight because both of you are so upset or so angry and all of that. Those are the times where maybe it is okay for you to take a break.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to like, okay, fuck you, I'm leaving. Like, you know, but take a moment to just calm down. Everyone calm down. We'll revisit it whenever we're both level-headed.
Because that's just like if I'm working on something, working on the truck or working on that piece of shit Jeep we had, and you come at me with something, I'm just like, that ain't the time because I ain't in the mood to work shit out right now because I'm trying to work this other shit out right now. And you see I'm frustrated, so you back off, let me finish what I'm doing. And then when I'm done, I mean, we come back together and we figure it out, talk it out. But in the heat of the moment, like, if I'm busy, like, I'll be a straight up asshole. I mean, and you know that, but I don't mean to be, but it's just I got so much shit going on. Just to hear, like, some other problems coming up while I'm trying to work on this problem, like, it's just...
No, I mean, and I feel like that goes along with like really learning your partner. Like, and I've paid attention to the fact that like when you're doing things like that, you are, you know, frustrated, annoyed. So it's like, that is not the time, like you said.
Yeah.
So if I come out and I see him like cussing at inanimate objects, I'm taking my ass right back inside. Okay. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to go eat me a snack or something and let him handle that first. And I don't take it personally because I know that he's not coming from an angry, hateful place. Like, it's just that he's not in that mindset to do that right now. Like I was just saying, if y'all are having an argument or a, you know, disagreement or anything like that, and you can tell that either one of you is not in that headspace to really fix it and come to a conclusion, take some time. Like, just walk away.
Back off, go watch a movie, go grab some fucking ice cream, go do something. Let the other person finish what they're doing, and then y'all try to figure it out.
When it comes to, like, conflict styles, me and Colby are on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. He is more of, like, the confronter, and I'm more of the avoider. We have both learned that each other is like that. So that way it's not just like fire and ice blowing up into this explosion.
Yeah, because I'm more definitely like, all right, there's a problem. Let's fucking fix it. Right now, like, let's get to it. Let's figure it out so we can move past this because I don't want to be stuck on some shit longer than needs to be. And she's more reserved,
like I said, when someone's upset at me, I just like shut down for some reason. I mean, probably need to talk to my therapist about that. But it's hard for me to find what I'm trying to say. And it's hard for me to like figure out my emotions or my thoughts. And so I just don't want anything to do with it. Colby has learned that whenever I get like that, if he was to come at me like very confronting, like, talk to me right now. Like, why did you feel, you know, if he came at me in like a very aggressive way, that is going to make me shut down even more. That's not going to help me to open up or anything like that. So Colby has learned to approach me in a very like gentle, caring way. He still gets what he wants as far as like us talking it out and figuring it out. But I also don't feel the need to just like totally block off.
But yeah, that's also a problem with men in general. First off, motherfucker, you ain't gotta be all hard and Billy Badass 24 hours a day, especially when you're home with your wife and kids. Sorry, if you at work or you out with the dudes, yeah, you be like that all you want. There's a balance in life, bro. You can't be all macho man 24/7. You got to show your wife and your kids affection, fucking the love and nurturing as a male, being a spouse and as a role model to your kids. Yes, you still need to be stern and whatever, but you got to find the right balance between all that. It's like she said, like, I can't come up to her. Yeah, you can go talk to a dude like that all the fuck you want, because who the fuck's that? But when it comes to your old lady and your kids, bro, like, tone it back a little bit. You don't want to come off all high strung, fucking arrogant son of a bitch. Like, take it easy, slow it down, take a couple steps back, take a fucking deep breath, motherfucker. I don't know what you gotta do, but do it. Approach her in another way to where she will want to respond to you.
And it goes both ways, like women as well. If I have an issue, it's not going to be helpful for me to come to Colby and be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, you should have done this. Why did you do that? You made, like, just the immediate, like, anger, aggressive, like, say I wasn't the avoidant type and I was the confrontational type. That also isn't helpful. Like, when you talk to your partner, you should still have some kind of respect for them. No matter what is going on, you should still uphold that respect and love that you have for your partner. Yeah. Not talking to them all crazy and, like, cussing them out and stuff like that. Like, there's no need for all of that.
Yeah, because all that's going to do is just stir the pot and get everybody all wound up, and you're in a full-blown ass argument over nothing. All because you approached somebody the wrong way.
Like, a lot of the way that people learn how to deal with conflict comes from how they were brought up in their family, parents. I know for a fact that I learned that avoidant thing from way before Colby.
And the same thing, like, I grew up with the yelling and fighting in the house. As a man, like, bro, I ain't want to put my kids through that. Like, I don't want to treat her like that. I'm trying my best to do the complete opposite of what I grew up with and what I've seen with how me and her are with each other, how me and the kids are with each other. And it's definitely, you still have to work on it. I mean, don't nothing happen overnight, but just keep in your head. You know what you saw or heard or anything when you were little. So why do you still want to keep that cycle going?
Has he gotten upset at me? Have we bickered? Yeah. But he has never screamed at me. He's never, raised a hand towards me, anything like that. So it takes a lot as somebody to experience things growing up and then to really just be that, like, you just totally stopped that cycle from continuing.
Once you realize you fucking up, I mean, tone it back, apologize, and just realize that you were in the wrong for acting the way you acted when, I mean, bro. Don't nobody want to see that shit. Don't nobody want to fucking hear that shit. Don't nobody want to deal with that type of shit. So as soon as you realize you're starting to fall back into that cycle, bro, fucking go ahead and nip it in the ass and go about it another way. Because it ain't healthy and it ain't good for nobody. Especially if you got kids, bro. If you got a son, you want your son to grow up and act like that towards his wife. Or if you got a daughter, you want your daughter to grow up and deal with that shit towards her. I hope not. And if you do, you're fucking fried. You're setting an example for the future of your kids. So if they see you treating their mama like that, when they grow up, they're going to think they could treat their wife like that, or their husband can treat them like that. You don't want to teach and show bad communication with your spouse, because your kids look up to y'all regardless. They see everything, they hear everything. Regardless if you think they do or not, they do. The main thing you can teach them is how to treat their partner and treat their kids. And also how you treat them is how they're going to think they need to treat their kids. So keep that shit in mind and try to set the best example for them and for your spouse.
My family, I never experienced any type of, like, arguing, fighting, anything like that. Everything was done behind closed doors or, where we couldn't hear or see. A lot of things that happened were just kind of like pushed under the rug. I feel like that, of course, is where I kind of learned, like, if you just avoid something long enough, it'll go away. Colby has really changed that about me. Like, he has really helped me to realize that, one, my voice matters. Two, how I feel matters. I don't have to hide my feelings. I don't have to avoid my feelings.
Well, I mean, you're also a part of this relationship, a part of this team. Like, it ain't just fucking one-sided, bro. It's a two-way street regardless how you look at it. Your voice, your opinion matters the same as mine.
And I think that that's a beautiful thing. The fact that, you know, me and Colby have been together for so long. We basically grew up together in a sense. Going from being a teenager into an adult, we grew up together. We learned together. We were able to grow as a couple together. It's hard for a lot of people to do that because one person, you know, kind of goes off and grows up on their own and the other person doesn't. Then you have to question and ask yourself, like, is it my responsibility to make them grow? And at the end of the day, you can't really make anyone mature or grow if they don't want to. There were a lot of things coming into me and Colby's relationship that we needed to learn and we needed to change for the better. And we were able to do that as a team instead of it becoming like you said, like us against each other. We really fucking linked arms and we're like, we're going to do this. I'm going to teach you what you need to be taught and you're going to teach me and we're just going to thrive together.
We look like the Wizard of Oz, boy, skipping down a yellow brick road.
So say now it's come to the end of your argument or it's time to resolve it and to say, I'm sorry. There comes a time where you have to set that pride aside and just say sorry. Like, I feel like that's so hard for so many people to just really be like, okay, you know what? Actually, maybe I did make you feel that way. And, I did something wrong or hurt you in some way. I'm sorry.
Well, you scared to say something? You already said all this other shit. What's one more word? Or two more words? I'm sorry. Shit's already been marinated. It's time to fucking pull it out.
Pull it off the burner.
Yeah.
You're burning the soup.
As an adult, I mean, I hope it's not the first time you took something square on the chin. I mean, even if it's your fault or not, bro, I mean, it's time to move forward. You can't keep dwelling on the same shit. Life is all about movement. You're constantly moving forward in life. So why are you stalling yourself? Go ahead and apologize, make things right. Continue showing your love for each other and just don't let anything negative fucking affect y'all like that. There's no need to constantly have negativity in y'all's relationship.
And the thing is, when you have these disagreements in your marriage and your relationship, good things can actually come out of that if you handle it well. So the whole thing of like, you bring up something that your partner is doing that you don't like or, that upsets you. Now they know and they promise to not do that again or, work on that or whatever. That fixes something major for y'all's relationship. So it's like, if you're able to bring up those disagreements and work through it in a healthy way, that will definitely strengthen the whole dynamic between both of you.
Life's full of trials and tribulations, and how you handle conflict within yourself or with your partner or with anybody else is going to determine the growth within yourself and with your partner. Learn from your mistakes. You're always learning. And you will notice a change in it. Like, you won't be having little nitpicking little arguments about nonsense, dumb shit, all this and that. It's okay for me to talk to them about this because in the long run, they understand and they're not going to judge me for how I feel about this and that. That's fucking growth right there.
The more you move forward in your relationship and, the more that you age and grow, we're always evolving. We're evolving how our minds work. We're evolving how we deal with our close connections and things like that. So you have to make sure that as you go through that process of evolving, that you're able to understand each other. Because, I mean, if you look at those relationships of people who have been together for 50, 40, 60 years, they worked through their conflicts. They didn't let the conflicts tear them apart or damage their relationship and make it to where they didn't see a future with each other. And I mean, there's even a couple like little things that you can implement in your relationship to help you whenever you're having any kind of conflict and stuff like that. One small thing would be before you react to something, just take a second. Like, take a second to just pause and just reflect on what's going on before immediately just like jumping down each other's throats. And I mean, even if you have to set like fighting fair rules in your relationship, do it. Like, sit down, have a conversation with your partner and be like, you know, anytime we have an argument or a disagreement, these are the rules. We're not going to yell at each other. We're not going to swear at each other. I mean, that's kind of in a way what me and Colby did. Like, one of his rules, or one of the things that he felt the most importantly about, was whenever we have disagreements, I'm not just going to run away and totally avoid and, you know, ignore it. He appreciates it more if we sit there and talk about it and find a solution. Ever since then, I've never done that. So I have not allowed that to create even bigger issues in our relationship. And honestly, if you can, have like regular check-ins with your partner. Me and Colby, the thing about us is that we are one brain cell. Anything that I think, anything I feel, whatever, it could be the most stupidest thing. Like, wow, I was hungry at 2:00 today and ate a bag of chips. Like, I will just tell him things like that. Like, we talk to each other all the time. We tell each other what we're feeling, what we're thinking. It doesn't matter what it is, all the time. So I never feel like I'm blindsided by things that happen, because I know where his mind's at. Say he comes home from work and he is not having the best day. He's a little frustrated, aggravated, or whatever. I already know that. Before he even steps foot in the door, he'll text me and be like, yeah, you know, these people pissed me off or whatever. So when he comes in the door and, you know, he kind of has like that very somber attitude and just like not the most uppity, high beat person, I don't take it personally. Just having those moments of like, this is where my mind's at, I just want to let you know, could make a huge difference.
Check in with them throughout the day, see how their day's going, and you'll know. And just from that, you'll know how they're going to be feeling by the time they get to the house.
Because something that surprises me when I hear it is that there are a lot of couples out there that don't talk. Like, they don't talk about how they're feeling or like what's going on with them or, you know, anything like that. And I can't wrap my brain around that, because Colby is literally my human diary. Like, I tell him everything. So
I got all the tea on all you sons of bitches.
I could definitely see how, if I wasn't so open with him and he wasn't so open with me about everything, it's kind of like you're lost. Like, you're lost somewhere without a map. You have no idea what is even happening on that side. So it's like, how are you supposed to help them fix whatever's going on or anything like that? So like we said, disagreements are going to happen in every relationship. But what I really want to try to encourage you to do is use just at least one of the conflict strategies that we were talking about in your next disagreement and see what that does for you. See if it changes the trajectory of the conflict, maybe.
I hope you don't have to, but if you do, I mean, take some free advice. I mean, shit, you ain't paying for this shit anyways.
Correct. Don't let the way that you handle disagreements come in between the love that you have for your partner. This has been episode 5 of the 2 Kids and a Mullet Later podcast. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to us. I really hope that something from this episode resonates or can be helpful for you.
And if you have any questions about anything, or you got another topic you want us to discuss, shoot us a message, give us a follow.
Okay, peace out. See y'all next time.
Get to work.
Wrong episode, dude.